I've had this camera for about 8 months now, and this is all the little tips and tricks I've learned over the time. I know there's a lot of rumors about the DJI Pocket 4, but I still think there's enough to this little camera, which is personally probably the best camera I've ever had in this form factor. There's quite a few of these tips, so let's not waste any more time and jump straight to them. A cool feature you can use this as is your own cameraman. So you can have this as your own personal cameraman. You set it down, plump it on its little tripod like that, and it can just track you. So you could be standing in the middle of a field into the middle of the room, and it will follow you around like you have your own personal little cameraman following around. Very easy to have, especially if you do vlogging on your own. It opens up the possibility to get shots you couldn't normally get on a typical camera, which is very cool. It's a really good feature. So sometimes when the camera is tracking you, you'll see that it gives you a bit of headroom, a bit too much sometimes, or it keeps you in the center of wherever you've tapped to focus onto yourself. So what you can do is frame your shot within the actual app itself or on the camera itself. To have your shot set up how you want it, what you can do is move the little Joy-Con to wherever you want it. You can move to the left, to the right, and you can frame yourself to the right of the screen, or you can frame yourself to the left or the bottom left or the bottom right. You can get that nice dynamic shot without having to deal with the active camera tracking you and keeping you in the center at all times. This next one is for the adventurous people who likes to go on walks, adventure around, do their own personal vlogs, is wearable mode. So if you're an active person on a bike, free running, jumping on walls, or jogging, and you want to document your journey, what you can do is put this camera in wearable mode. It locks the screen, so you can't touch any of the buttons, you can't press any of these. Play it onto yourself with an attachment you can get, an accessory, and what it simply does is locks onto whatever you focused it onto, and it acts as a action cam. And what the camera does is what you set it to, and it can't be knocked out. And if you want to simply get out of this, all you do is swipe up, and there you go, it's all active again. With this camera, it has been designed from the ground up for simple use for beginners to pros who want to get the most out of a dynamic camera like this. What you can do is set it to pro mode. So all you do is swipe from the right. You see at the top right, it says Pro. If you click on that, it gives you all these extra features of exposure, white balance. You can change the color range. You can change what kind of format you film in. So if you want to film in D-Log, you can. Also, it gives you access to glamour mode, but you can change all the settings like you can do with a typical camera. It's a great thing to have on this, as you can mount this in weird places, or if you want to have a really little run and gun setup, this is probably a great thing for that. It just gives you better control over the camera as a whole. But if that's not for you, you can just keep it in standard auto. I kind of keep it in pro mode auto. I know a lot of people are against that, but personally it works for me. It's what I use for all my shots normally for my other videos. Right now I'm filming on my phone because otherwise I couldn't show you the camera, could I? It's all your preference and what you would like. One of the features this camera has is graphs and guides. So you can essentially set guidelines on the screen itself or on the actual app. So when you're using it as a viewfinder on your phone. So you've got the rule of third lines, you can have the cross lines, or you can even have your histograms where you can see if you're exposing right, or the zebras if you want. There's a number of things you can put on to help you, to assist you to get the best shot out of this camera. Great thing to keep in mind if you really want to frame that shot up perfectly, or you want to make sure something is exposed right. Great little simple tool to use and have. So it can break or make a shot. I know I said this one about the accessories, but with the Creator Combo, you do get 2 battery packs with it. So you get a little one like this, and you also get a big one that gives you extra battery life with the camera, so you can go all day essentially. These also have an extra benefit to them. The way the camera clips on is through the Type-C on the bottom. So you take the actual battery pack and clip it on like this, and you see the little pincers on the side clip on. What that means is it's essentially a quick release plate. Instead of buying extra accessories that you need for normally for tripods to pop cameras off and on, you can essentially use these to hot swap your camera to different scenarios. Say we have a little tripod here with the big pack, you can pop that on right there, clip it on, and if you want to take that off and move to a different area and then clip it onto the little one with mobile or onto another tripod in a different location, you can do very simply, quickly, to get your shots and not waste time. Auto and manual. So it depends on what you want to do and where you are in your journey of creating content for yourself. This camera has two different functions depending on how you look at it. So you can have it in full auto mode where the camera is in auto, it locks on automatically. Everything is in full auto, so you don't need to worry about this. You can just take it out of the bag, flip open the screen and go. But if you want to get a bit more out of it, what you can do is pop it in manual. So it's the same under pro mode. You leave the camera in pro mode, and then on the actual app itself, what you can do is scroll down so you can see a manual option, and you can change every setting you want to get the perfect image you would like. If you do that, it is a lot more fiddly. Depends on how much effort you want to put into it, or you just want a running gun. All depends on the person. It does have a fixed aperture at 2.0, but everything else from the ISO to the shutter, you can change to however you want. I personally keep it at 1/50 and my FPS at 24, so it gives me a nice cinematic look to the actual camera itself. And the ISO, I find if you keep it around 200 to 400, you get a really nice base ISO, so it's really smooth, clean, not much noise, but you can bump that up to about 1600 without any problems. Also, the benefit about having a camera like this is you have quick replay on your footage, so you can, whilst you're out filming, you can quickly replay it on the screen or on your phone to make sure you got that shot you worked on, because there's nothing worse than walking away from a shoot, getting the footage onto your computer and realizing you did not get that shot. What you can do is check it out on the actual screen itself. It gives you options. You can see all the footage you recorded. You can scroll through it. You can click on them. You can play them. You can play them half speed. It's up to you. You can scroll through them, which is really cool. Also, if you don't like it or you have a bunch of them, you can delete them, which takes us to our next tip, is quick delete. So it's basically if you're recording a shot and you're trying to get a smooth tracking shot of an item, but you stumble or mess it up slightly, instead of having loads of that kind of shot repeatedly, so when you get into the edit there's loads to go through, what you can do, if you hit record and you're going through your shot and you find it messes up, if you just hold down the actual record button for 3 seconds, you'll see it auto deletes that clip and you're ready to go again without worrying about it taking up memory. Audio with this camera is very interesting. You can use the built-in mic, very unique of how it's designed. So there is actually 3 mics on this. There's one at the front and 2 at the sides. You will find if you hold it in a certain way, if you want to hold it like this, you'll find your fingers sometimes cover up the actual mic. So I find if you hold it nearer to the bottom or use the actual extension battery grips, keeps your hand away from the mics itself on the camera and you can get cleaner audio. They're designed to capture audio all around it because mainly designed to be outdoors, active camera. It's trying to capture as much as it can to give you the best quality. What you can also do is if you buy the Creator Combo, or you can buy these separately, you can get the DJI Mic 2 or Mic 1 or Mic 2 Mini, whatever they're called. And essentially it's a little mic. These are amazing quality. They also record internally 32 float. If your mic connection to the camera itself messes up, you've got an internal recording to this, and it's really simple to connect to the camera. So all you do is go to the settings, swipe down, click on the settings, and you'll see the very first option is wireless mic. You do have the capability of connecting 2 of these at a time to a single camera. So if you're walking around with a partner, vlogging, or doing an interview, you can use these mics to record perfect audio to the camera and not worry about a single thing. Really useful to have. But again, if you don't have the Creator Combo or don't want to spend the extra money, the onboard mic itself is actually really cool. Also, a little thing, I've got another video coming out next week about different audio devices you can connect to really different things, which might be helpful for a lot of people. So this is a little trick we have picked up through the years, and it's basically a tracking shot, a sliding tracking shot, but for the poor man. So if you haven't got a track slider or anything like a gimbal, I know this is a gimbal, but sometimes you do get shake in it still, or you want to get a really smooth shot for a little item you're tracking. What you can do is set it down on a piece of paper. So this is called the paper track or the paper slide, however you want to call it. So essentially what you do is you set your camera up on a piece of paper and frame up your shot. Make sure it's all focused on the screen. You're locked on to this item right here. Make sure you're focused, it's locked on, and essentially you can pull the paper back slowly and you'll see with the active track item, the camera will pan up or pan down, however you want to see it, will keep it in the frame you put, giving you a really cinematic shot, adding to the value of what you can produce with this. Really cool trick. and really useful. So one thing to keep in mind is the speed of when the camera moves for you doing tracking shots or active tracking, whatever you're doing. But I personally set it to slow. You can set it to fast if you're doing really fast active sports moments. In general use, I find if you set the camera to slow motion, you can find that if you swipe down and click on the little icon of the person, you'll see the slow, default, or fast mode. You scroll through them and you select the one you want. I go for slow, and it gives you a great steady gimbal shot you can use regardless of you mess up a little bit. And probably what this camera was mainly designed around is vlogging. So you can use this as probably your perfect partner for vlogging yourself, bunch of people if you've got a couple of mics, or use the internal mic, and you can set it in selfie mode. All you need to do for selfie mode is swipe down the little top icon on the right, you'll see selfie mode turns on. Also, it's active track essentially, so if you don't want to go through that method, you just get the person or subject or yourself in screen, double tap on the face, and you're locked on, and that's selfie mode. It gives you a pretty wide field of view, so you can fit yourself or two people in vlogging around. You can hold it out, you can set it down on places using a little tripod in selfie mode. It's really useful to get them unique shots, especially vlogging around, say, a city or in the countryside. Personally, I think this is probably the best camera you can buy right now for vlogging. So with this camera, it's a default of a wide lens, but sometimes it's not wide enough. So if you buy the creator combo, you get this little adapter. So this is a wide angle lens adapter. So all it does is clips onto the front of the screen like that, and just gives you a wider point of view so you can fit more in. So you don't have to hold it out as far, or if there's a bunch of you in shot, you can hold it out and you can fit 3 or 4 people in shot. Really good thing to have. You can buy a bunch of these on Amazon or from DJI themselves. You don't have to buy it with the kit, but that takes us to ND filters. Personally, I don't use ND filters. What I do is use the camera in auto. It does a really good job keeping the highlights down. You can actually see what's happening. But if you don't want to go down that path, or you want to use it in pro mode and use manual, and you're battling with a high sun or light coming in from a window, you can use ND filters you can buy from Amazon, you can get from DJI. They're really useful to have. I just don't have it. So this camera has a really cool feature that a lot of TikTokers and YouTube short people might find very appealing, which is vertical shooting mode. Essentially, you can turn the camera into a vertical shooting camera without actually changing anything, get the shot you desire and frame up how you want it. All you simply do is push the screen down, press continue, and it will pull it in vertical mode. So now you can shoot vertical videos in 3.7K. It's not quite 4K, but essentially with TikTok or Shorts or wherever you put in this, doesn't really matter. Them platforms are built for 1080p at the moment, not 4K. So you'll get the high quality, high sharpness quality from this camera in a vertical format, which you can post anywhere, which is a really cool thing to have, especially on the go. So you can essentially film your horizontal vlog, and then if you want to grab a quick short or a TikTok, you can essentially flip it into vertical mode, film it there and then, and send it to your phone, and then post it from there, which is really good. So the problem with this all being built into one little thing of a camera is focus. You'll find if you're trying to do a reveal shot from, say, a sign to the background of like a tree or a forest, you'll find it doesn't really pull focus, or it does, and it does that little breathing bit before it actually locks onto the back. So what you can do is lock the focus. If you set your shot up to the end point, so on the background, you focus on that, and on the app, you can't do it on screen yet. Hopefully they'll bring it out in a later update on the camera itself, but on the app itself, what you can do is hold down on the part you want to keep in focus on the reveal shot, and you'll see a little icon pop up, and it's a little lock, and it'll lock completely. So what you can do is go to your start point where you have the camera pulling out, and it'll give you a perfect reveal shot every time. Because there's nothing worse than having that breathing for focus every time you try and get a shot. So you spent all your money on this camera to get the perfect shots, but you've realized, I want to get drone shots, but you don't have the money, forgot to bring your drone, or it's broken because you crashed it for the 5th time. A cool little thing you can do with these kind of cameras, especially when they've got a gimbal and they're this light, is make your own DIY drone. Really simple. It does give you a DIY effect of like a drone flying over a subject. Essentially, all you need to do is stick it on a real long stick, find your subject, make sure active track is activated. You can film in a higher frame rate, so I filmed it in 4K 60, so you can slow it down to give you a bit more of a smooth motion to it, and essentially it gives the illusion that you have a drone. Really simple trick to do, but it does give you some great results. So this tip's a bit different. There's a bit more of a bonus tip, but it's more to do if you buy the creator combo or this mic. I want to throw this in here. So essentially you can connect this to your phone, not just the camera, but you can connect itself to your phone, to your computer through Bluetooth, and it still gives you really good clean audio. You know, you just activate the Bluetooth on the actual mic itself by holding the little pair button, make sure it's flashing blue. It'll pop up on your phone, connect through the Bluetooth. If you want to record directly on your phone, you can use a third-party app like Blackmagic camera app. Just the native phone app doesn't do audio for some reason, but you can connect it, get really good audio from it. But also what you can do is connect to your computer itself through Bluetooth, use OBS to connect it through that. Really simple, but good thing to know in case you don't have a studio mic and you kind of want to grab some audio out in public and you want to grab some shots with your phone, talking heads, but you don't have your camera. Okay, this is a good one. One of the best webcams I've ever used. So essentially what you can do is connect this camera to your computer through the Type-C, and it'll give you two options. You can either transfer the data from the SD card in it, or you can put it in webcam mode. Webcam mode will give you 1080p 30 frames, but a webcam where you're live streaming, it's really good. I've done 90% of my live streams in the past year with this camera. It lasts for a very long time. The quality is nice, it's sharp, color range is really good. If you're ever thinking about getting a camera, this is probably a great deal because you get so many things out of this. You can get a vlogging camera, an action camera, a webcam streaming camera, which is really nice. But also a bonus is you can live stream whatever you want from the app itself. So if you're out in the wild, you want to stream to YouTube, connect your phone through the app and you can hit go live, image from the camera will be sent out, and if you've got your mic, you're essentially streaming in the middle of nowhere. So adding on to that one is essentially recording stream limits. Initially when this first ever came out, people were saying it had maybe a max of 2 hours of streaming, or where you could plug it in through the Type-C and connect to your computer and stream for however long you want. People were getting around 2 hours before it cuts out or the battery dies. What it does is essentially it does charge the camera at the same time, but also it's like drip charge, so it just tops it up ever so often, and you'll find the camera uses more battery than it's getting charged, so it essentially just die or overheat, which I found over the time is go for a very long time if you keep this in a cool environment and don't touch it. I've had this set up on my setup streaming. I think the longest I've done is 6 hours with it, and I've had no problems. It does get a bit hot, even just on like this in general, it's a bit warm, but I think that's just going to happen because it's such a small form factor. But you are getting a great image, and I think that's just going to improve through time through firmware updates. I know people are starting to talk about the Pocket 4, but honestly, I don't think we're going to see a Pocket 4 for another year yet. This is too good, and they've got loads of firmware updates coming out for it. I don't see anything overtaking this anytime soon. And probably one more I want to touch on is the latest update for this camera. The firmware update gave you a little mode where you could essentially drop in on your image. Originally you would have 4K and it's a fixed lens, so you can't zoom in or out, but you can use the little joystick to digitally zoom in or zoom out. It's a digital zoom, which is not the best, especially with 4K. You know, cropping in doesn't look that good. But what this new feature does, essentially right next to where it says 4K 24, gives you a little arrow. So if you click on that, it turns yellow and it crops in, but it's a digital upscale crop. So essentially it's sharper, it looks cleaner than you would initially just doing it yourself, which is really useful to have so you can get them tighter shots without having to change your frame. Nice to have. I wish they released this on release because I've been zooming in digitally and it looks terrible. Best thing they brought out with the camera, just the camera alone is amazing, but the app, the software really suits it really well, especially giving you a bigger screen so you can use your phone, your iPad, or whatever you want, has a bigger screen to see what you want. So you only got a 3-inch screen right here, but you can use your phone and you can actually see more detail of what you've got in frame and make sure it's in focus. Essentially set up how you want. You can start stop on the actual app, so it gives you more control. So you can be away from the camera, you can prop this down, you can walk away, frame yourself up using your phone, and you can start recording, which is really good to have. And you also have full control over the camera. It's essentially you're a one-man band with the camera and the app. And there you go. That is my tips and tricks of the DJI Pocket 3. I personally love this camera. It gives you the most out of the smallest thing. If you want to check out my review video of this camera, it's also linked down below. But yeah, there you go. If you like this, subscribe, hit that like button. I'll be back next week with a very interesting audio anywhere video, which will be very interesting not to miss. But if you've made it this far, why don't you check this one out? I brought out last week about my headset. Very interesting, useful, probably the best headset out there.